Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances of HDG Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we will be hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse 6. And the chapter is entitled How Maharaj Parikshit received the age of Kali. And we are going to be hearing from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, on this amazing topic and amazing verse. Without further delay, we will start the class, and we request devotees to please have at least one takeaway at the end of the class to share our thoughts, realizations, and reflections. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atava Asya Padam Bhoja Makaranda Liham Satam Kim Anyayar Asad Alapayar Ayusho Yad Asad Vyayaha Otavasya Padam Bhoja Makarandaliham Satam Kimanyaya Rasadalapayam Ayusho Yadasadhyaya Otavasya Padam Bhoja Makarandaliham Satam Kimanyaya Rasadalapayam Ayusho Yadasadhyaya Atavasya Padam Bhoja Makarandaliham Satam Kimanyaya Rasadalapayam Ayusho Yadasadvyaya Atavasya Padam Bhoja Makarandaliham Satam Kimanyaya Rasadalapayam Ayusho Yadasadvyaya
Somebody is speaking behind.
Atava, otherwise, Asya, of his, Lord Krishna's, Vadam Bhoja, lotus feet, Makaranda, Liham, of those who lick the honey from such a lotus flower, Satam, of those who are to exist eternally, Kimanyai, what is the use of anything else? Asat, illusory. Alapai, topics. Ayushaha, of the duration of life. Yat, that which is. Asad yayaha, unnecessary waste of life. Translation: the devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking up the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life?
The same last paragraph. the Jadi Krishna Kathasraya. So the proposal was that we are interested to hear about Kolis being punished by Maharaj Parikshit. If there is some connection of Krishna consciousness, that is the principle of Krishna consciousness, we shall not do anything which has no connection with Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. One should be very alert. I am going to do this, whether it has got any connection with Krishna. I am going to eat this, whether there is any connection with Krishna. In this way, we have got always some activities, some action of the senses, but if we test every moment whether this has got any connection with Krishna, then we'll remain safe. I'm going to talk with you or somebody else. Whether that talk has got any connection with Krishna. If it has no, then I'm not going to talk. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagam Uchyate. That is really renunciation. Renunciation does not mean I change this cloth to another shape of cloth and another color of cloth. Renunciation means I will not associate with anything which has no connection with Krishna. This is renunciation. Because for a Krishna conscious person, to waste even a moment of life without Krishna consciousness is a great dangerous action. Not only anyone who is interested for higher level of position, he should be very careful of using every moment of life. Chanakya Pandit's advice, moral instruction of Chanakya Pandit. He says, practical proposition, Ayusat Chanai Kopi. Nalabhya Sarnakoti bhi Sachet Nirarthakaganita Kanuhani Statudhika. He is advising that our duration of life, that is limited. It is by destiny limited. Therefore in the horoscope it is said that so many years this man will live. That's fact. So any big scientist, big philosopher, they may be very, very big men. But the so-called scientist cannot increase in one day's life. That is not possible. You have to die. The moment you are destined to die, you must die. So, not only day, even a moment you cannot increase. A moment you cannot increase. Therefore, Chanakya Pandit says, Ayusat Chanayekovi. We have got a certain duration of life. Now, what is gone in this life? Suppose yesterday was 2nd January 1974. This morning it is finished. Now it is 3rd January 1974. Can you bring 1973 or 1974, 2nd January again? No, that is not possible. It is gone forever. It is gone forever. Similarly, every moment of our life is going forever, never to come back. Chanakya Pandit says, Nalabhya sarnakoti bhi. If you request that now my age is, say, 78 years, if I request somebody that I will give you millions of dollars, make my life 77 years. Well, that is not possible. Not 77 years, even a moment. Therefore, Chanakya Pandit says, every moment of life is so valuable that you cannot get back it, even offering hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars. That is not possible. So, if that moment is wasted for nothing, just imagine what is your loss. A thing which you cannot get back by paying millions of dollars, if that is lost unnecessarily, then how much loss you are suffering. Just imagine, this is material calculation. Why we keep some valuable things for jewel very carefully? Because we know if I lose this jewel, I lose so much money. Similarly, we should always consider that the modern civilization, rascal civilization, they do not know how to utilize life. So many days, so many hours, that's simply wasting, simply wasting. It is said that the sun rise and sunset. During this period, the sun's business is to take away the duration of our life. Sunrise and sunset. That means 12 hours or 13 hours, which is gone. Between the sunrise and sunset, this sun's business is to take away the portion, the fixed up duration of life which I have been given. That is, some of it is taken away. The same example, just like you have got a fixed balance in the bank. If you draw even 10 pence, 10 shilling, that means it is taken away. You have to replace it, but replacing is not possible. The bank balance you can replace, but the balance, suppose you have passed, I have passed, suppose if I live for 80 years or 90 years or 100 years, so this 78 years is already taken away. It cannot be replaced. You cannot make the bank balance or the duration of again complete. That is not possible. This is plain fact. Therefore, here it is said, those who are Krishna conscious, they must wait, measure every moment whether this moment has been spent without Krishna consciousness. That is the criterion. Abhartha kalatam, namagane sadaruchi. This is the taste of advanced Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami is. Abhartha kalatam. Abhartha kalatam means whether my time has been spent uselessly. One should be allowed. Whether my time has been used, has been uselessly spent by talking nonsense. In another place, Rupa Goswami says, Utyahara priyasascha prajalpo niyamagraha Lolang janasangascha sarabhi bhakti pranasati. By 6 kinds of activities, you will lose your holding in Krishna consciousness. What is that? Utyahara. Too much eating. Ahara means collection or eating. So either too much collection. Our society, international society, we must collect thousands of dollars. But for spending it for Krishna, not for keeping in the bank, That is not our business. We must collect as much. Suppose for doing some business, you are constructing a temple in Vrindavan, we require 50 lakhs. That is required. But I shall not collect more than 50 lakhs, even 1 cent. This is uttara. Similarly, if your body can consume foodstuff 1 kilo or half kilo, you can eat. But not even an ounce or even what is called grain more than that. That is uttahara. You eat. It is not forbidden to eating, but you must eat as much as you can digest very nicely, not more than that. This is against bhakti principle. Eating too much or collecting too much. Utyahara. And prayasa. Prayasa means do something with extraordinary endeavor. So, of course, we have to do sometime, but it is the general principle. We shall accept, suppose we are constructing a temple. If it is about $2 million required, or 5 million dollars, if we cannot do that, we shall not attend. That is prayas, unnecessary endeavor, which is within your control, you should act. Utyahara prayasa. And prajalpa. Prajalpa means talking all nonsense. Suppose politics. What Mr. Nixon did yesterday, or what did he say? So what interest you have got in Mr. Nixon? We shall not waste our time talking this politics, that politics, this sociology, this cinema, this actor. No. We have nothing to do with that. That is called prajalpa. Unnecessary talking. Talking means decreasing your duration of life. Talking. So why should you decrease your life unnecessarily? Every moment you have to utilize. Whether it is used for Krishna. This is sadhana. This is sadhana, practice. Unnecessarily talking, unnecessarily making enemies. Unnecessarily, you are my subordinate, I am your master. Who is master? Everyone is subordinate to Krishna. Nobody is master. Why you talk unnecessarily? So therefore it is said that Kimannai rasadalapai, asat. Asat means that will not exist. And sat means which will exist. That we do not know which will exist, but we know that this body will not exist. That everyone will know. And what is that thing which will exist? That we do not know, the soul. That we do not. We know what will not exist. That everyone knows. And in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Abhinashiti tad vidhi, jena sarvam idam tato. Antavatri me deha, nitta sukta saririna. Everything is there. We know that this body is asar. Antavat. Antavat means which has got an end. Antavatri me deha. This body has got an end at a certain date. Everyone knows. But the other is nitta sukta saririna. But within the body, which is the living force of this body, which is moving this body, that is nitta. Two things are there. My body and the force within the body. Everyone knows as soon as the force is withdrawn or gone away, then this body has no more movement, it has no value. That everyone knows. But they will explain in different way. But according to our Vedic knowledge, that which is moving this body, that is eternal. That is not finished. After the end of this body, the body is burnt into ashes or buried into the earth, and still, yes. Na hannate hannamane sarire. In this way, every step, Sang Bhagavan, personally, Krishna is instructing us, and we are so full, we cannot understand. We cannot understand. Big politicians, they read Bhagavad Gita in our country. But by their action it is seen they did not understand even a word of Bhagavad Gita. Even a word of Bhagavad Gita. Big politicians, they become very big Mahatmas or great men. But they tried for this body, which is to be finished. Antavatti media. Nobody tried for that thing which will never be finished, that is eternal. You find from their life. They never instructed about the soul. They dealt with politics very nicely to give bluff that within 1 year I shall give you liberation and this and that. About this. What is the value of this liberation? But because they did not know the thing which is not perishable, thereafter this body which is liberated or not liberated will perish. They are busy. They are busy with the activities of this body which is surely perishable. What is the value of our independence? Can we avoid death? Suppose you are independent nation, what is the meaning of this independence? When death will come, will catch you by your neck and throw you away. Your independence, nonsense independence. What is the value of this independence? Be independent from the clutches of Maya. No more death. That is independence. That is independence. No more birth. That is independence. No more death. Otherwise, what is the meaning of independence? You are not independent. You are under the clutches of Maya. You are struggling. You are struggling to get out of the clutches of Maya, or the material nature, external energy of God. You are trying to make nice medicine to get out of the attack of disease, but you can manufacture a better medicine, but you cannot get out of disease. That is not possible. This is struggle. Now we have manufactured such a nice medicine that cancer or any other disease will not attack us. That's very nice. But find out some medicine that death will not attack you. That is not possible. Then where is the meaning of your advancement? So this Krishna consciousness movement is that medicine by which you can conquer our death. Therefore this is the best medicine. Bhavaushadhi. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhavaushadhi. Nidvitta tarsai rupagiyamana. You can stand on the wall, not in the middle. Nidvitta tarsai rupagiyamana bhavaushadhi. This word, bhavaushadhi, means the panacea for all material diseases. Bhavaushadhi. Chotra manovinama. Parikshit Maharaj says that this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, it is chanted by whom? Nidvitta tarsai. One who has finished his hankering after material pleasure. Nidvitti. Nidvitti means finished. Now, there are two ways, pravitti and nirvitti. I want to smoke, that is called pravitti. And when I give up, that is called nirvitti. Pravitti and nirvitti. So there are two things, pravitti and nirvitti. But asuras, demons, they do not know in which way I shall guide my pravitti and which way I shall guide my nivitti. This is the portion. In which way pravitti and nivitti, these two things are there. But the difference between a demon and demigod is that a demon does not know how to direct these two propensities, pravitti and nivitti. And a demigod knows how to guide these two things, pravitti and nivitti. These two things. One who does not know, pravitti resang bhutanang nidvittesu mahaphalam. Shastra says that these things, just like loke bhavayami samadha seva nityasta jantu nahi tattva chodana. These eating, sleeping, mating and defending, every animal, every small animal knows it very well. How to eat, how to sleep, how to have sexual intercourse, and how to defend. These four things everyone knows by nature. So this is called pravitti. But it has to be made nivitti, stop. They do not know what is the perfection. The perfection is the pravitti, propensity is eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And when you make it, just the opposite. No more eating, no more sleeping, no more mating, no more defending. That is perfection. Who knows this? Ask any scientist, philosopher of this world, that can you show me any way? No more eating, no more sleeping, no more mating, and no more defending. That is spiritual life. Therefore, we have to reduce it. It is not possible, but there is possibility. Just like Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, he made it in his life. During Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about 400 years ago, he was a very rich man's son. Very good wife, very good state. He left everything. And ultimately, he made these things, even eating, nil. He was eating every third day a small quantity of butter. Nominal, yes. Otherwise he gave up eating. So it is possible. It is not that how one can give up eating and live at the same time. And that is possible by the life of Raghunath Das Goswami we see. So actual civilization means to deny material conveniences. That is actual civilization. That is a perfection of civilization. Otherwise, the cats and dogs, they are also after food, after sleeping, after sexual intercourse, after defending. What is the defense? The defense is the animals are after it, and the human beings should be not after it. Negation. That is perfection of life. So how you can negate? The Mahabadi philosophers, they want to negate, or the Buddhist philosopher, make it zero. Make it zero. Sunnavadi. Sunnavadi, Nirvisheshvadi. Nirvisheshvadi and Sunnavadi almost the same. So they are after negation. But that is not possible. Artificially, if you negate, I shall not eat. You cannot continue it for many days. That is not possible. That is not possible. Similarly, eating, sleeping, mating, everything, artificially you cannot do. But you can do it as perfectly as much possible simply by Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it is said here that Himannai asadalapui. If we stop Krishna talking, then that is negation. If we stop artificially, this mundane talk, that will be artificial. You cannot sit down. If I say that's the so-called meditation. See, meditation is artificially stopping these mundane activities. That is meditation. But how long he'll do that? He is becoming suffocated. When I shall talk. I'm meditating, I'm meditating. But how will it stop? That is not possible. Just like this Mayavadi philosopher, they say, become desireless. No more desire. That is not possible. I am a living entity, how can I be desireless? It is not possible. So this negative process will not help us. Sunnavadi, Nirvisheshvadi, it will not be helpful. Therefore in the Shastra it is said that arujya krichena parang padang tato patanti adho anadita jusmadangraya. The same example I have given several times, that these rascals, they are going to the moon planet and sun planet, but they do not get any shelter, and they came down again. Their advancement means go to some extent and then come back again, Earthly planet. When the Russian aeronauts was on flying, he was seeing, where is my Moscow? Where is my Moscow? The anchor is there. The attraction is there in the national, in the country, in the city, in the home, in the wife, in the cats, in the dog. And he is trying to go up. But that is not possible. Just like a vulture. He goes 3 miles up, or more than that. But his aim of life is to find out a dead body. He is finding. He has gone so up. You can say that advancement of going up. But the business is to see where is a dead body so that he can eat. So this kind of artificial going up and making things negation will not help us. That is not possible. Therefore they are failure. Arujya krichena paranga padaga tato. These Mayavadi philosophers, they may go very high by knowledge, by speculation, but they will again fall down. Why? Anadita jusmadangraya, because they could not get the shelter of your lotus feet. Therefore they will fall down. That is not secure. Because a man cannot remain without any activity, without any desire. That is not possible. A man, animal, any, even insect. He must be doing something. I have got practical experience. One of my son, when I was young man, he was very naughty. So sometimes we used to put him on the rack. He could not get down. So he was feeling so uncomfortable because his activity stopped on the rack. So you cannot stop activity. That is not possible. You must give better activity. Then he'll stop. Parang drishta nivartate. So this Krishna consciousness movement is that you get better activity, therefore you can give up the inferior activities. Otherwise, simple by negation, it is not possible. We must walk. We must walk for Krishna's sake. We shall go to the Krishna's temple, or we shall go for selling Krishna's book, or meeting some Krishna devotee. That is nice. But you cannot stop walking. That is not possible. Then your idle brain will be devil's workshop. Yes. Then he will fall down. How to go to that woman, how to go to that man. If you stop walking, then you have to walk again to sense gratification. That's all. Similarly, you take any sense, you cannot stop it, but you have to engage it. That is Krishna consciousness. You engage your hand, you engage your legs, you engage your eyes, you engage your ears, Engage your tongue simply in Krishna. You can engage everything. For eyes, instead of hankering after some beautiful man or beautiful woman, just see Krishna how nicely dressed. Then you'll forget these other things. For tongue, you engage your tongue simply for chanting, then your nonsense talking will automatically stop. You engage your tongue eating very nice prasadam of Krishna, offered to Krishna, then you forget to go to restaurant. In this way, our time should be utilized, as it is said, that kimannai asadalapai. We should not allow our senses to be engaged in such things which will never exist. That is the criteria. Simply engage yourself in such things will continue, will exist forever. Just like we are learning here, Krishna service. So Krishna service is here, and if you are perfect, then Krishna service is there after death also, the same thing. That what is said, Maroba Jivoba. One saintly person said to a royal prince, Rajaputra Chiranjiva. Oh, you are the son of a king. You live forever. Muniputra Majiva. Oh, you are the disciple of a saintly person, brahmachari. You please die immediately. Just see, Rajaputra Chiranjiva. He is blessing Rajputra, you live forever. And Muniputra, the son of a Muni, or the disciple of a Muni, he says, then Majiva, you don't live, you'll die. You die. Other thing that, what is called this, butcher. Butcher, he is advising the butcher, Jivoba Maroba. Either you, now, he is advising butcher, Ma Jiva Ma Maro. Don't die, don't live. And to a sadhu, saintly person, he is advising Jivoba Maroba. Two things. So what is the purpose? The purpose is that this prince, he is enjoying material enjoyment, but next time he will have to become a dog. So better you live with your enjoyment. Chirangjiva. Because as soon as you die, you are going to be a dog. So better you live. So long you live, it is good for you. And Muniputra, a brahmachari, and his business is fasting and go to collect for Guru Maharaj, and then whatever he takes, he offers to the Guru. Then if Guru says that you can eat, he can eat. It is hardship. But by this hardship, he is now prepared to go back to home world. So he says you immediately die. So you can go to Vaikuntha immediately. And the cruel butcher, his advice, Ma Jiva Ma Maro. You don't live and don't die. Because your living condition is so horrible that every day morning you have to kill so many animals and see bloodshed. It's a horrible life. Your occupation is very, very horrible. Therefore you should not live. But at the same time, if you die, then you are going to suffer all this suffering yourself. Then you don't die also. So this is the position. And sadhu, those who are saintly person, devotee, his advice, Jivoba Maroba. Either you live or either you die. Your business is to serve Krishna. You are serving Krishna now, and after that you will serve Krishna. So there is no question of your death, neither there is no question of your birth. So these are some moral instructions. So here it is said that Kimannai asadalapai jat What is it? Abhaya. Asad abhaya. What is the meaning of abhaya? Asad, unnecessary waste of life. So, unnecessary waste of life, we should be very careful. That is Krishna consciousness, that is the criterion of Krishna conscious life. We should not waste our time. That is advised by Rupa Goswami also. Abhartha kalatta. We should be very cautious not to waste a single moment without Krishna consciousness. So we have got so many activities. If we have no activities, then we can polish the floor of the temple. That is not very difficult. If I am illiterate, I have no interest in reading books, I have no interest in chanting, or I cannot do it, then take something and mop over the temple and cleanse the temple. That is also service. It is not that one who is engaged in the deity worship, he is better engaged, and one who is polishing the floor, he is less engaged. No. Both of them will get equal benefit. Krishna consciousness is so nice. So find out some business for Krishna. Don't waste time. That is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much.
This is a very powerful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. Very direct, very straightforward, to the point. Powerful, powerful. Would like to ask devotees if you have any reflections from this class. If you have a question, we will definitely take a question and we'll definitely do our best to answer it. But if there isn't, either way it's fine, but we would love to hear your feedback, your reflections, your takeaways. I'm going to go up to this whole lecture because it's been really, really powerful. I know one point that really struck me was when Srila Prabhupada says, when he defined renunciation, in this paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says that renunciation does not mean I change this cloth to another shape of cloth and another color of cloth. He said renunciation means I will not associate with anything that has no connection with Krishna. This is renunciation. So, and then he goes on to say, because for a Krishna conscious person, to waste even a moment of life without Krishna consciousness is a great dangerous action. So this was a very powerful point for me, as a very powerful takeaway to actually, help me to reflect in my life and to really, lack of a better word, assess or evaluate or, go deeper and see, where are my connections with the Lord and where am I seeing connections with the Lord and where I'm not. So that was very, very powerful for me. So this was my takeaway. I would like to hear from devotees from your takeaway. You can even put it in the chat and I'll be very happy to read it. Yes, Prikshit, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Yes, very powerful lecture, so much to learn from it. Some of my takeaways are these. You talked about renunciation, yes. He also defined renunciation as not to associate with anything that has no connection with Krishna. So we have to be very, very discriminating, because what we're dealing with, something that has connection with Krishna, then it's of use. If there's no connection with Krishna, then it's of no use. Mm-hmm. You also mentioned how moments that's gone is gone forever, cannot be retrieved, no matter how much money we have to try to, get somebody to turn things around, they cannot. So if we waste any moment, how much of a loss that is. Mm-hmm. So then devotees must have the criterion in their lives as to whether the time has been spent well or spent uselessly. We have to always be assessing that. So that's some of the things that I've noted from the lectures, and other people can chime in too if they want. Hare Krishna.
Yes, really, really powerful. This, how we really assess, and I'm going back to the first paragraph of Srila Prabhupada, And he repeatedly brings up this word, is there anything that we're doing that's personal conscious, any connection, and it's definitely a question for us to really, I feel, assess and, evaluate, what are we doing during the day? Is there any connection? And in fact, he says, even our activities, anything, even to who we talk to, or, is there any connection? So that was very, very powerful point. Thank you for sharing your point. Anyone else would like to share a takeaway? Any thoughts, any reflection? Please, you can put it in the chat, like I said, and I'll be happy to read it. I know Shorab was messaging me and saying that a strong class. That was his comment about your Prabhupada's class was a very strong class. And I said, yes, very strong, to the point, direct, and powerful. Yes, go ahead, Prakshit, please.
Well, if nobody's sharing, I'll share a little more.
Please.
So, like he quoted from Nectar of Instruction, Achahara Prahasya, Pajapane Magraha, Janasanga, Doriamcha. So all the 6 things that will ruin our devotional life. By 6 kinds of activity, he says we can lose our Krishna consciousness. Then he defined Achahara, eating too much or collecting more than is necessary. And Ahara means eating or collecting. So overdoing that is not good. And prayas is unnecessary endeavor, endeavoring so much. And Prajapa, he spent a lot of time on unnecessary talk, like politics. What Mr. Nixon said, he said, what do you care about what Mr. Nixon said?
When he said that, I had to laugh because I was like, that is so true. What do we? Yep.
Material things. Talking, he says, actually, talking decreases the duration of life. Of course, it's energy put in. So talking should be connected to Krishna. And it says, we are under the clutches of Maya. We cannot free ourselves from death. Krishna consciousness is the only thing that will free us from death. Then we talked about pravritti and nivritti, to do and also to give up. So people are doing this pravritti, material pravritti, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And nivritti is for the body, no more eating, no more sleeping, no more mating, no more defending, which means we can eat, sleep, mate, and defend, but through Krishna consciousness, according to Krishna consciousness rules, not materially just doing it just to do it. When we eat, we have to eat, but we have to eat what's offered to Krishna, the remnant, the prasada. When we sleep, we have to sleep. We can spiritualize our sleep actually by praying before going to bed. Even the subtle body can be doing some service. That's how we spiritualize sleep. Made for producing Krishna conscious children, like that. So then these principles can be used, but not in a material kind of way. He talked about people going up, the astronauts, and they go there and they can't even stay there. And when they come back, they have to come back. What's the point? So if a person goes high, no matter how high a person goes, if he doesn't take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, he has to come down. He has to come down to reality. Then instead we talk, we work. But if we work for Krishna, that's Krishna consciousness. Engaging the senses in Krishna is the best way to live. And the great thing that he mentioned, which was really, really, really present in my heart, and it really, really struck a chord with me, is service to Krishna is present now. We're doing it. And even after we die, we still continue to do it because that's the soul's natural way of doing it. So when we do material service, whatever we acquire, when we die, it's gone. It's not in our control anymore. But when we serve Krishna, we get the spiritual credits. And after that, we still continue to serve Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful. Yes, amazing points. In fact, I was just one word that really that I So I find Srila Prabhupada repeating a lot, and I was curious to know how many times he mentioned that word, was the word waste. And he mentioned it 9 times in this lecture: waste, 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 waste of time. And repeatedly he was mentioning that word. And then Saurabh's input of takeaway was, the higher understanding of Krishna consciousness for me is to check the time I am wasting not thinking about Krishna. So I really like that, Saurabh's takeaway was very powerful. It's very, very powerful, actually. The higher understanding of Krishna consciousness is to check the time I am wasting of not thinking about Krishna. So that was a very nice takeaway, Saurabh. Absolutely, because you're proper. And that's why I did a control find. I said, he used that word so many times. I was wondering how many times, and he mentioned it 9 times, 9 times. Waste of time, waste of time, waste of time. So we have to really see, how are we using our time in Krishna's service? How are we connecting it in Krishna's service? How are we, like I was talking, like my Parikshit and I were talking to one devotee a couple of days ago about how Vaisheshika Prabhu, when he goes for book distribution, there was one video of him where he went for book distribution, and he was doing book distribution, and I think it was UK or somewhere, and he was giving this person a book. And this person didn't have any money to give, not even a penny. But this person was smoking. So Vaisheshika Prabhu, being such an elevated soul of Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee of Srila Prabhupada, saw that this guy had a lighter. And he asked this guy, can you give me this lighter in place of the book? And I was wondering, when I saw the video, I was wondering, what's he going to do with a cigarette lighter, in place of the book? Then in the video, he said, I'm using this lighter to light the incense of Krishna, connecting it with the Lord. And I was like, whoa. So, how are we connecting our everyday activities with the Lord? The smallest thing to what we see outside. I mean, who would ever think that that we could take, takes an exchange of a book, take someone's cigarette lighter and use it in Krishna's service? Some of us might think, oh my God, that's Maya. Oh, it's muchi. Oh, it's unclean. Oh, it's touched by a meat eater. Oh, it's this, that kind of stuff. But Vaisheshika Prabhu didn't think that. He says, how can I connect this? Because I gave him a book in Krishna's service. So it's a really powerful point that really made me think today, because somehow that pastime of Vaisheshika Prabhu really came into my mind when Srila Prabhupada is saying connection with Krishna, connection with Krishna. So that was one key point that I see, that Srila Prabhupada repeatedly mentioned the word waste 9 times. Actually, I'm curious to see how many times he mentions the word connection. 7 times. Wow, in this lecture. Amazing, amazing. So really, really powerful. So it's all about not wasting our time and connecting more to the Lord. And this must be Dear Krishna. Yes. He says, Hare Krishna, great class. One aspect is to use all our time and energy for Krishna. Next level, how to know if we are really pleasing Krishna and devotees while we think we are in Krishna consciousness. I'm going to ask my husband if he would like to answer that question.
Hare Krishna. Captain on the basis is all glory to the Prabhupada. The instructions and the consciousness that a devotee is supposed to have has been quite clearly explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And the spiritual master has given the purport. So Bhagavad Gita is a great guide for basic service. The consciousness we're supposed to have, that Krishna is the owner of everything, and we are the servants of the Lord. Now, in our activities, when we take the guidance of a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master, do as he says to do. The advice of sadhu, the advice of a spiritual master, and the advice given by Krishna, follow that closely, then we will please the Lord. When we please Guru, then Krishna is pleased. And how to please Guru is to obey the instructions given by Guru. Especially if you obey the instructions as a matter of priority. You have some things to do. everybody has some things to do. Then you hear instructions from Guru that you want this and this and this and this done. Then you stop what your plans are, switch the plans immediately, and begin to take on the service that's required or asked for by Guru. And if you do that, you will please Guru. And if you do that, Guru gets pleased, Krishna also gets pleased. But hearing is very, very important because the guidance will be there. And then we will even perfect, keep improving our Krishna consciousness from the hearing. Hare Krishna.
I hope that helped. Yes, yes. And if I could add one more thing is when the Guru is present, it's very important that we really take instructions and guidance from the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master is not present, it's very important to take senior devotees' guidance, especially the ones that are very much connected with our service, not someone where we are, that is not going to guide us. Senior devotees, senior Shiksha Gurus, senior devotees are meant to guide us in our services, and who knows our day-to-day activities, who know our weekly activities, who are always in contact. So it's very important that we also take instructions and guidance from the seniors, because they will guide us on how we know how to please the Lord and the devotees. They will guide us. It's a never-ending process, like, for example, like if we want to know how we're doing well in school, we might be getting 80%, 90%, 95%, and it's just a grade.
Okay.
But then we want to know, do I understand it? So it takes a teacher to really show us, yes, you're doing well, but do you understand the concept? We might be just doing it, like out of duty, but are we really understanding the essence of the philosophy? So I think it's very important that, we take shelter and instructions of Guru, as Prakshit said, and also of senior devotees that can guide us to really help us to think, are we doing it right? How to do it? And how to please the devotees. And of course, we've heard Krishna says, if you want to please me, you please my devotees first. We have to please the devotees first. Then only we can please Krishna. In fact, one thing that I was listening to a class by, I think it was Balabhadra Prabhu last week or the week before, where he says, yes, it was Balabhadra Prabhu. And I think even Padmanabh also mentioned in his class last Sunday, we tend to go straight to Krishna, but we forget that we have to go to the devotees first. We are not qualified to go straight to the Lord, that we have to go to the devotees till the very end. So if we want to know how to please the Lord, we really have to go to the devotees and please the devotees, and then take instructions and shelter and guidance from senior devotees who will guide us in our day-to-day temple services, devotional service, chanting service, reading service, everything. So I hope that helped, dear Krishna, but that was a very powerful question, really powerful question. A comment from Saurabh, he says, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That really helps to have elevated devotees around to guide. I'm fortunate about that. Thank you, Saurabh Prabhu. Yes, Prakshit, go ahead.
Just coming back to Srila Prabhupada's class.
Yes.
The point that he made about it's like a story, but it's more like a fable. What we learned from is very, very, very significant. The advice that was being given to the son of a king, the prince, son of Guru, brahmachari, or disciple of Guru, same thing. Advice, the butcher, and advice to a saintly person. So Srila Prabhupada explained that for the prince, he was advised, live as long as possible. For the brahmachari, he said you should die as soon as possible. Advice to the butcher, he was told, you should not live and you should not die. And advice a saintly person, You can go on living or you can die. It doesn't make any difference. So the Prabhupada said the purport is for the prince. He's gotten so much wealth and he's enjoying so much sense gratification. But in his next life, he'll become a dog. He's not going to get a good next life at all. So that's why I said you live as long as possible, because right after death, you're in trouble. For the brahmachari, says you should die as soon as possible. Why? Because the brahmachari is working very hard in Krishna consciousness, taking up so much austerity, so many inconveniences, but it's all piling up as spiritual credit. So if he dies, he goes back to the spiritual world. So he had prepared himself. So then the advice is that you should die as soon as possible so you can go to the spiritual world and live a wonderful life of bliss. The Buddha is said you should not live and you should not die. Why? Because the butcher is doing such demonic activity of killing animals every day. So his life is a condemned life. Living means piling up more of anathas, piling up more of negative things, sinning seriously. And if he dies, what's going to happen? He's going to have to pay for it. So he's causing trouble in his life, and his next death's not going to be good at all. Advice is a saintly person, you can go on living or you can die. The reason is you're already serving Krishna now, wonderfully. So you can go on living, doing devotional service. You can die, you will still do devotional service after death. So that's quite, the four situations that Srila Prabhupada described. So much advice as to what to do and what not to do. The advice to the saintly person especially, keep on doing devotional service, even if you work by cleaning the temple while somebody's on the altar as a pujari. Their spiritual credits is the same. Krishna looks at the quality of service and the intention behind the service, not the service itself. The service has to be rendered, but the service attitude is what Krishna counts, looks for even more. So much advice is there Srila Prabhupada gave. Hare Krishna.
I actually like that the last point that you mentioned also, where Srila Prabhupada said, if you don't have interest in chanting or reading or hearing, then go mop. I said, go get a mop and mop the temple floor. So yes, that was a very, very powerful point. Thank you so much for sharing that point. That was one of my nice takeaways that I really liked also. Thank you. Just a humble reminder to devotees that tomorrow morning's class, let me see if that's a post that just, nice point from there, because it says great point, because sometimes some devotees lose determination seeing materialistic minded people seemingly enjoying in sense gratification. I 100% agree with you there, Krishna, because when we see other, materialistic people enjoying, we feel like, oh, I'm missing out on the sense gratification. And then we lose the determination. You're right, because we feel like we want to enjoy like them. That means that what's coming to my mind is when we see someone else enjoying, we want to enjoy like them because we feel like we're missing out. But if we feel like we're missing out, that means that we really haven't found the high purpose of life. We are just really not connected deeply. So then that's when we lose the determination. Yes, that's a very good point there, Krishna. Thank you for bringing up that point, Prabhu.
Let me just add another point to this.
Yes.
When you see people enjoying, understand where we are, the planet that we're in. And for that matter, I'll point up a discussion we had with my father-in-law when he came to visit us. And he was talking about how these demons, these politicians, these rich people trying hard, fighting each other to take control of the earth. And we know, because it connects with the same point here. So the response to him was, sure, let them have control of the earth, along with the earthquakes, along with the tsunamis, along with all of those things that the demigods throw at it. They can have the earth. We'll go back to the spiritual world. So when you see people having what seems to be wonderful sense gratification, they are trying to chew the chewed. This is not a place that you really can have wonderful, so-called wonderful sense gratification. It doesn't really exist. It seems like it is wonderful, but but actually there is so much distress that's attached to it. You see people drinking, oh, they're having such a great time. Really, they're ruining their livers is what's happening. They're ruining their bodies. So we have to be aware of the fact that what's real happiness, it comes from inside and from service, the Supreme Personality of God. It is very different, and it is very, 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 very high level happiness and peace that comes. Well, let me read what Dear Krishna also said in the chat, because it adds to it.
And it gets even more confusing when we see some so-called devotees getting indulged in such seemingly enjoying activities. Oh, yes, Prabhu. Very confusing. And that's when we feel like, and that's, yeah, because when we see devotees getting indulged, then we get confused. And that's even more of a reason why we need to, seek advice, guidance, from senior devotees, from spiritual master, because it can get confusing. It's just like a child, like children, when they see someone stealing, they think it's okay to steal. So it's the duty of the parent to tell the child why stealing is not good, because the child might think, well, I'm 5 years old, she's 5 years old, we can do it. No. So that's why when we see devotees getting indulged in seemingly, enjoying activities, and it confuses us, actually, when it confuses us, that means the intelligence is checking it. If it doesn't confuse us and we go be part of it, then that means our intelligence is down the drain. But when the intelligence is saying, I'm confused, that means the super soul is creating a question in our mind to go get it clarified from a senior or the spiritual master. But if the mind is not getting confused and we say, oh, I'll just follow the leader and do it blindly, that means we are not using our intelligence. So I look at confusion or doubts or question as a red flag telling us, is this right? Let me get it clarified. So that means the intelligence is kicking something in, kicking something in to make us question, as opposed to saying, she's doing it, I'll do it. Blind follow the blind, pretty much. So that's what's coming to my mind. But I agree, Prabhu, it does get very confusing when we see devotees doing it. Then we're like, oh my God, now what is right, what is wrong? Yeah. And then he says, that's why class like today helps in keeping our faith and determination. Srila Prabhupada is genuine. He knows our heart and weaknesses. Grateful for this wonderful sadhu sangha. Thank you. And thank you for such a wonderful takeaway, dear Krishna. Your takeaways, your points, your questions is just amazing, on the dot. Amen. He's genius. Oh, yes. Oh, okay, genius. Got it. Yes. Srila Prabhupada is the genius of the genius. Absolutely. No one can beat Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Just a humble reminder to devotees that tomorrow morning is Chandramali Swami's class. So it's very important that we all try to attend the class tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. March is giving class. Until then, another good news, Chandramali Swami is giving class in our temple this Sunday for 4:30. So it's very important that we all be on time at the temple, 4:30, with Srila Prabhupada's, with Chandramali Swami's message. So please do join us at 4:30 this Sunday and tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Until then, Vanchakaptibhyascha, Kripasindobhayavacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Ananya Mataji, for your comment. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.